The Kansas City Chiefs are bringing back a team that many believe, including themselves, can become the next great team. Like not just for a year, but over a period of years. Some are using the word, including themselves, Dynasty. They returned 20 of 22 starters, 6 of 7 offensive linemen. All of their core players are locked up for the foreseeable future, including, of course, the great Pat Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Damian Williams, Mecole Hardman, Sammy Watkins. I mean, they're stacked, and they know it. And Chris Jones, defensive end, very good player, probably their best defensive player. He just signed a 4-year, $85 million deal, and he is not being shy about what they believe they're about to do. Here he is, Rob.
This is only the beginning. Be prepared to have another parade and another parade and another parade, because we're going to make sure we bring not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5+ rings to Kansas City. You know, it's been 50 years. The wait has been great, but the wait is over now, and it's time to create a dynasty.
Before you can go first, Rob. But before you go, I just want to say this. I would think, I don't care how good you are, I would, and you know I believe in the Chiefs, but I would think any player would be careful about giving the famous LeBron quote, right? Not 1, not 2, because as good as the Chiefs are, Rob, they're not lined up like everybody thought the Heat was. You had LeBron, Wade, Bosh, all in their prime, and they predicted, LeBron said, what, not 6, not 7? So he's predicting 8. They got 2.
We got LeBron on line 1.
Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7. And when I say that, I really believe it.
Yeah, you just got to be careful. That's all I'm saying, but go ahead.
Stop it! Chris, this is so ridiculous. I get it. They hadn't won a Super Bowl in 50 years in Kansas City. They've OD on eating barbecue and sweet tea, and they just cannot. They're beside themselves, and they're feeling their oats, and oh my God, everything is great. We remember players talking about the Browns. We're talking about it won't even be fair because we have the best quarterback and we have the best team and everybody's great, and the rest of the league, I don't know what they're going to do because we won't be stopped. I've just heard that too often. Before they won the Super Bowl, I remember they had a great player on their team, Chris. Do you remember D Ford?
Yes.
All-pro for them?
D was the one that
cost them.
May have cost them. Maybe
no,
would
not
have
may
been
have.
first.
It was a game-losing interception by Tom Brady.
Well,
Chris.
I'm just saying they may have won the Super Bowl that year.
Well, but
you
I'm
never
just
know, right?
But
they would have got there. They certainly would have got there.
That's my point. That's how close it can be sometimes. That's how close. Just like Russell Wilson and them were at the 1.5-yard line of repeating, of tearing a new chapter and being that team, Chris, that people thought they could be. That's all I'm saying is it's way premature. You guys in Kansas City, stop it. Really. Win a second one, and then we can start a back-to-back. Then we can start saying they got a chance at a dynasty. They can win 3 in a row or 3 out of 4. But this whole notion that all of a sudden, after going 50 years lean, that now there's a harvest. Now there's a yard full of cabbage and carrots, and you're going to eat for the next 10 years in the NFL. Oh, this is ridiculous. This isn't even fair. You don't even know what's going to happen to Andy Reid. God forbid there's a major injury to somebody. I mean, there's so many things that can happen. What about if Lamar Jackson outplays Patrick Mahomes again and is MVP and the defense isn't at Kansas City? They give it up at the end. Patrick Mahomes has a great season, but the defense gives it up, Chris, on a late touchdown, and they get knocked out before they get to the Super Bowl. All I'm saying is It's way premature. All the chatter, all the talk, people will remember about the Chiefs. I think it's I don't understand why it's necessary. If you're that good, you don't have to brag about it. Be about it. That's why LeBron had to eat the words. That's why LeBron, when you look back at Miami, most people don't look at it as a success, Chris. Most people to win 2 championships in 4 years, you would think
I don't know
so.
about it. Do people look at it as not a success?
No, but
I wouldn't go that far.
I would say if you had to pick, I'm just talking about, was it a success or was it a failure and you had to pick one or the other? It
if
did
I had
not
to
live
pick
up
one
to
or
the
the other, I'd say
expectations.
success.
It
If I had to
did
pick
not,
one or the other.
it did not live up to the expectations. When LeBron said that, and Alex, what did he say? I want you to play the whole soundbite.
Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7. And when I say that, I really believe it.
And
You
when
know,
I
I'm
say
not
that,
just
I
up here.
really believe that. I really believe it.
All
So
right,
y'all
all
go
right.
ahead, dance around, throw a parade and a party, drink all the barbecue sauce you want. I'm just not
All right,
convinced.
Rob Parker, you stop it. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say they're going to win 5 or 6 championships. I mean, I don't think anybody can go that far in the NFL. Heck, maybe any sport, okay? However, I've told you, Pat Mahomes is winning at least 3.
Is he
And if
winning
he
next
doesn't,
year, Chris?
if he does, well, I'll make my pick when it's time. I'll make
I'm
my
ready-
pick when
I'm
it's
ready
time.
right
but
here and now. I'm ready to bet you a pair of
leaning-
Jordans right
no,
now.
No, look.
Right
you
now
back,
for
you
next
back
year.
down. You
Right
back
now.
down. Rob,
Right now.
Let me finish. You just had 5 minutes. You back down. When I said, you said they won't win another Super Bowl. And I said, let's bet. And you backed down last week. So don't get all bad and confident and cocky now. All right, but here's what I'm saying. Look, the not 1, not 2. We saw it with LeBron. I wouldn't have went there. I have no problem with Patrick Mahomes saying, I want to win. I want to try to win at least 6. Like, he didn't say it like the not 1, not 2 with that cockiness. He just said, that's what I'm shooting for. I want to be the best. Tom Brady's the best. He's got 6. I want to get at least 6. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with LeBron. It's like LeBron saying, I want to become the best player of all time. I'm fine with that. But I'm telling you, Rob Parker, look, you like throwing around that word premature. You love throwing around that word premature as if Patrick Mahomes is just the run-of-the-mill Pro Bowl quarterback. This dude is special, Rob.
He didn't even lead in any major category
This
quarterback last year.
dude is special. If you can't see that Pat Mahomes is special, I don't know what to tell you. Then you remind me of those guys, and you were probably one of them writing it. Michael Jordan can't win. Call me when he wins a championship. Like Larry, like Irvin. He can put up all the numbers he wants. Call me when the Pistons stop beating them. I know you were writing those columns. I was in grade school reading your columns. No, but Rob, I'm going to say this, and I will say this. I do think this Kansas City team can be the next NFL dynasty. I think, and Nick, I mean, credit our colleague Nick Wright. He made a great point. You and I debated. You and I argued last week over what's a dynasty. I'm about to get to that. Nick made a great point that he put it better than I did, so I'm going to give him credit. He said, and I agree with him, there has been a dynasty in every decade of the NFL. Now, you're going to shoot it down, but hear me out. In the 60s, it was the Packers, even before they had the Super Bowl. So it was championship. They won league championships. In the 70s, don't tell me. I don't want to hear about your strange, nonsensical, out of context definition of what a dynasty is. If you're going to sit here and tell me that the Pittsburgh Steelers of the Steel Curtain, the Pittsburgh Steelers of Terry Bradshaw, Franco Harris, Lynn Swann, John Stallworth, and the like were not a dynasty? Shame on you. They won
Did
4
they win
in 6
3
years.
in a row?
They won 4
Did they
in
win
6
3
years.
in a row? Never won 3 in a row.
I'm about to be done. They won 4 in 6 years in the 70s. They were a dynasty. In the 80s, the Niners won 4. They were a dynasty. In the 90s, the Cowboys won 3 in 4 years. They were a dynasty. In the early 2000s, the Patriots won 3 in 4 years. They were a dynasty. And recently, this decade, the Patriots won 3 in 5 years. Dynasty. So that's a dynasty. I don't know where you get this 3 in a row, 3 out of 4. No. Maybe that was how they rolled in Jamaica, Queens when you grew up. But nationally, around the world, globally, we don't see it that way. The Kansas City Chiefs, Rob Parker, will indeed become a dynasty.
You have not.
Yes, I'm done.
The old idea that you just throw that out there, but you're afraid to bet me a pair
You
of
were
Jordans that the
afraid.
Chiefs
Don't
are going to
start
win.
talking about fear.
I'm talking
You were
about right
afraid.
here.
What's the
right
bet?
here, right now? They're going to win the Super Bowl. Are we going to? Let's bet that they won't win the Super Bowl.
I don't need to make my prediction
Why?
now.
Let's
I
do
wanted
it.
to bet you that they would win
No,
another
let's bet
championship.
next year.
Don't,
If
don't
they're gonna
try
be a dynasty.
They don't have to win it next year to
Yes,
be a
they
dynasty.
do. Yes,
No,
they
don't.
do.
By your strange definition, yes, but you're the only
You
person
gotta
on earth.
win to
just
be
like,
to win
just
a-
like Brady is
to-
not the
to-
GOAT. That
To, win
doesn't
a,
make it
to
so.
be a dynasty, you gotta dominate. You gotta win 3 in a row or 3 out of 4.
Who's won
to
3
be a
in a
dynasty.
row?
To
What
be a
team?
dynasty.
There's nobody's ever won 3 in a row in the
I
NFL
said or
Super
3 out of
Bowl.
4, 3 out of 4. That's dynasty.
2, so we've only had 2 dynasties in NFL history.
to win either 3 in a row or 3 out of 4.
The Patriots, and they weren't. I mean, they weren't even that dominant.
You think the Spurs are a dynasty? They never even won back to back.
They won 5
How in
rings
the world
in
could
the
they be a
Duncan
dynasty?
era.
They
The
never even
Duncan
won
era.
back to back. That's not a dynasty.
Most people say
That's
Bird
not a
was a
dynasty.
dynasty too. They never won back to back.
You gotta win. I said 3 out of 4, 3 in a row or 3 out of 4.
Bird didn't win 3 out of 4.
I didn't say they were a dynasty.
But most people do.
No, I don't. Most people just think of if a team wins a couple championships, they use that. They throw it around like they throw around great and GOAT, and they throw all these terms around. That is not a dynasty.
Where is it written other than in your book, if I'm right and I'm ripping,
Hey,
that it takes 3
You
straight
talk to
or
most
3 out
sports
of 4
fans,
to be
and
a
you
dynasty?
ask most sports fans
Well,
what
we
a
about
dynasty
to.
is. It's got to be 3
That's
in a row
foolishness.
or 3 out of 4. That's a real
3
dynasty.
in a row. We've never had an NFL dynasty, according to Rob Parker.
I said
3 in a
or
row.
3 out of 4.
All right, well, we'll see. 877-99 on Fox. 877-996-6369. Will the Kansas City Chiefs become a dynasty? And what's your definition of a dynasty? It's a team that dominates a decade. 4
No, it
Super
ain't.
Bowls in a
If
decade.
you win the first of the decade and then you don't, and you go 8 years without
Montana
winning,
wasn't a dynasty?
if you go that, if
Is
you
that
go,
what you're
Chris,
saying? That's what you're telling me?
I'm
Montana
telling
didn't
you-
lead a dynasty?
you have to win 3 in a row or 3 out of 4. If you don't
Stop
fit that
it.
criteria,
the
you're not a
Steelers
dynasty.
weren't a dynasty. My good.
No.
Anybody call me up and tell me if you think the Steelers weren't a dynasty. 877-99 on Fox.
You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Brad?
Yeah, what's up, Chris and Ron? I hope you guys are doing well tonight.
Thank you,
Thank
bud.
you, man. We are good. How are you?
Oh, fantastic, man. Chris, I'm sorry, but I got to agree with Rob. Man, you got to win at least 3 out of 4, if not 3 out of 5 years in a row.
All right,
Patrick
so you hold on. How old are you?
52.
All right, so the Steelers of the 70s were not a dynasty.
No, they were great. They were a great.
They won
franchise.
4 out of 6. They didn't win 3 straight. They won 2 in a row twice in 6 years.
Right. Well,
You gonna tell me they
being
weren't a dynasty?
Being a Viking fan and being one of the teams that the Steelers
They beat, right.
in the 70s, and the Vikings going to 4 Super Bowls between numbers, 3 and 11?
Right.
They kind of like Buffalo, kind of a dynasty. Buffalo going to 4 in a row, not winning. that doesn't mean just because you may have won that many, you got to win 4 out of 5 to be a dynasty.
That's never even happened.
3 out of 4, 4 out of 5.
To me, my definition is real simple: 3 in a row or 3 out of 4, and that puts you in the dynasty category. Let's go to Brian in Fresno. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Brian?
Mr. Broussard, Mr. Parker, how you guys doing?
Man,
Great,
we're doing
man.
good.
How are you?
I'm doing all right. All right, so let's get to it. Usually I only call about baseball, but I had to call in on this one.
All right.
So, as far as them being a dynasty, they have the potential to be a dynasty. I think that's everybody can see that. It's very, very out there. But I don't think they should be already claiming it. I mean, we've seen it in the past. I'm a USC Trojan fan, big time. I thought we were a 3P dynasty, and then Vince Young came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Same thing happened to Miami. Same thing happened to Tebow with the Gators. I mean, it's happened before. The Seahawks. People thought the greatest show on turf was going to be a dynasty. You saw how that ended. So until you do it, I don't think you should speak about it. I mean, and then as far as the definition of a dynasty team.
Do you have a problem with Mahomes saying – I think what Mahomes said, I want to win 6. You know, I want to catch Tom Brady. I feel like that's different than the way Jones said it. Not one, not two.
It is. No, I have no problem. I think every player should aim to be like the great before them. I mean, that just makes sense. But the way Jones came out, he's, kind of already claiming it like, oh, we're a dynasty. I don't think you should do that. And then as far as the definition of a dynasty, it's hard because I'm a big Dodger fan. I hate to say it, but people called the Giants a dynasty, and they won 3 out of 5. I didn't really see it as a dynasty, but they called them that.
That wasn't a dynasty.
Well,
wasn't.
There's no dynasties according to Rob.
I'm with you, Brian. No, they never.
I also think it differs by sport.
No, I don't. I just think it's a domination. Thanks, Brian, for the call. Sean in Sacramento, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Sean?
Uncles from another mother, man. How we doing today?
We're doing good.
Bro. How are you?
I'm excited, man. We only like 2 to 14 days away from the last extravaganza, so we got something to look forward to sometime this week or in the following weeks.
No, it's going to be on Friday because I'm on vacation starting Monday. So I want you to know that Rob G and I have already talked about it. Tomorrow when we do Inside the Parker, we will do the stand-up, and
so
Alex
you
will
have
get it.
You got the whole show then, right? You got all your jokes and everything.
I'm getting there. Tonight I'll finish it up. I'll be ready to go. I'm going to give you, as I told my wife on our honeymoon, the best 5 minutes of my life. Okay?
Oh, man. Hey, as long as you
Is that why y'all divorced?
Man, all right, real quick, man.
And she said you owe me 2 minutes. All right.
Hey, save it for the comedy tour. First of all, the light-skinned guard, Chris, he hit the nail on the head, man. A dynasty is not defined by how many championships they win in X amount of years. They define on whether or not they dominate a decade. The Spurs definitely dominated the late 90s, the early 2000s. The Pats dominated all the 2000s. And, Rob, by your definition, the 3 out of 4 Warriors are a dynasty even if Steph can't make a clutch shot.
No, but they are. They won 3 out of 4. Nobody said they're a dynasty. They won 3 out of 4 championships. That is a dynasty. I'm not.
Okay,
I never said that they weren't.
Sean brings up a good point because I think I don't know if you should say it's got to be a certain number, and obviously you need to win multiple championships. At least 3. I think at least 3 to be a dynasty. But I think it has to be. It's a feel. Like you said, I agree with you, right? The Spurs never won back-to-back. But they are regarded, the Popovich, Duncan era is viewed as a dynasty.
By who? I've never heard that.
I just think in basketball circles, people, and maybe we'll start asking some of our basketball guests about it. I think Bird's era, the Bird,
I just think
Bird, Mikhail Parrish. People kind of view that as a dynasty.
I just don't see it as a dynasty. I really don't. Cowboys, when they won 3 out of 4, that's a dynasty to me. When the Yankees won 3 in a row and 4 out of 5, that's a dynasty. Those are the teams that I look at.
Let me ask you this, Rob, because I think it's a good discussion. I think it's a good discussion because that Patriots team that won those 3 championships in 4
They won
years.
3 out of 4. That's
right.
a dynasty.
But let's keep it real, and you know this. I mean, as much as I give Brady all the props and Belichick and all that for doing it, that team didn't dominate the NFL where there was fear. It was like,
Chris,
we
it ain't
can't
about
play
that.
with them.
They won 3 championships in 4 years. That's a dynasty. It's about winning. It's about winning.
I think people would say that Steelers team, that Niners team with Montana winning 3 in 7 or 8 years, that those teams would be better, regarded higher than that first part of the dynasty, I guess, with the Patriots.
Let's squeeze in
Because
Joseph.
they edged them. Yeah.
Squeeze in Joseph Chris in Virginia. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Joseph?
Rob, stop it. You got to stop it. You compare everything to baseball to dynasties, to cap space, everything to baseball. And nothing is like baseball anymore. It's not the same kind of money. We're dealing with more money now. Situations like that, 4 out of 5, that's going to be hard to come by. You have a head coach. If he's not the best,
you can't win. No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. So you're telling me if you win a championship the first year of the decade, and then you go 4 years and you don't make the playoffs, then you win another one in year 6 or 7, and then win another one at the end of it in year 9, that's a dynasty because you won 3 championships in 10 years?
If
that
you
ain't
win
no
3
dynasty.
championships in a decade,
if you go 4 or 5 years without winning,
dynasty.
that's a dynasty, Chris?
No,
it ain't. Come on.
When we look at Brady,
Chris, I'm asking you. Just hear what I said.
I heard what you said.
You win your first year. You go 4 years without winning. 4. Then you win again. Then you go 2 more years without winning, and then you win again. That's a dynasty?
It can be.
No, it ain't.
When I think of the Brady-Belichick era, I think of it as a dynasty. I don't think of it as 2 dynasties. I think of it as a dynasty.
They went 9
6
years without winning a Super Bowl.
But
That's
they
not
went
a
to
dynasty.
9 Super Bowls and
No,
won
but
6.
it ain't
They
about
have
going.
Those 2 won more Super Bowls are as many as any other franchise in history. Just
But
those
it's 2
in their
separate
era.
2 separate dynasties. That's all.
I think there's nuance to it. I don't think it depends on, just, a statistic or numerical
I just gave you the perfect example. You wouldn't call a team that didn't win a championship in 4 years and then won again a dynasty. You wouldn't do it.
I think the Patriots were a dynasty, not 2 dynasties,
nah,
one
it's not
dynasty.
The same team. It's not the same team.
Same quarterback and coach. All right, but
it's
it's a good topic. We'll get to that another time.